How's it going, guys? It's Joe. Welcome to the channel. Today is a big day as I'm gonna be going against Klesso. If you guys don't know this guy, I've been watching him for the longest time. I look up to him. This guy's an absolute legend in GAC. It's definitely gonna be an interesting uphill battle here. Having a look at the overview, he's got about 700k more GP. We are matched in the top 80. In terms of T7 relics, I've got the edge. However, overall, in terms of Gear 13 and relics, he has the edge. Now looking at the lifetime banners here, he absolutely wins by a landslide as he's got 80k lifetime over me. In terms of offensive wins, he's got much more as well. And looking at the roster, he's got 23 more Gear 13 and 11 more Zetas. He's got both Galactic Legends and Luke, and they both have their ultimates. Unfortunately for me, I had only just taken Rey up to Gear 13 in the past week or so, so I actually don't have the ultimate ability at this stage. In terms of mods, he definitely crushes me in the 6.mod section, as well as the top 20 by 4 speed mods. So overall, it's gonna be an extremely exciting matchup, guys. I haven't been this excited for GAC, and I'm actually quite happy to have matched with someone that I look up to in terms of learning, and hopefully we can give him a good fight today. So just to give you a brief overview of my previous battles, one against Dark, and I won against Bunny Wabbit, who is actually Klesso's guildmate in Alpha Squad. So in our final here, we're going to be going against him, and he has ranked 400 in Kyber. He's got a ton of defensive holds and a ton of offensive wins. So looking at the front bottom walls here, he's got a Gas as well as a Luke and a Darth Revan. So pretty insane heavy defense. And just to show you how fast this Shak T is, at about 350 speed, 313 speed on that Hermit Yoda. And this Malak is insane in terms of tenacity, as it's got 170% tenacity and almost 120k protection. In the top walls, we've got Palpatine lead, high potency Palpatine, we've got Grievous, and a combination of separatists. So without further ado, let's get started. So I decided to start off and go against this Gas team, and looking at the modding of this Gas team, I did notice that he had a health primary for his circle, so I utilized my Rebel squad here, assuming that I would be able to drop him fairly quickly as he is on the leadership. And looking at that, I was able to drop him after the second turn, and I decided to go for Echo at this point. And I actually remodded Chewie for this GAC, as typically I would have him modded for high tenacity. However, at this point I don't think there's a benefit, as we don't generally come across Gas on defense fairly often. However, we lose Han at this point, so we're going to use Chewie's stun. And we almost lose Commander Luke here, as Gas takes 3 turns. We get a stun there from that counter attack. And look at that, we just barely scraped through this Gas, as this Gas is modded for quite a high offense. So although I did drop him fairly early, I feel like it was still quite a tough battle. due to that DPS. So we're going to use our standard Night Sister squad here against this Grievous. Gonna stun Grievous as per usual, and B1's doing a lot of work here. However, we're gonna target B2 early on, and we're gonna use our AoE here and apply as much plague stacks as we can, and possibly drop B1 fairly shortly with that. I find this counter quite reliable, guys, as long as your Daka really has high health. It shouldn't be a problem. And I decided to go for this particular counter as I wasn't gonna save my Night Sisters here for any other team other than Grievous. So I get a revive there, get Talzin back, get a stun from Spirit, and that should be game set match. So what I can say about Klesso's defenses here is that they are modded so optimally, guys. And they are modded to take banners away. So that's the main issue that I found. As I usually like to set my defenses decently heavy and try to scrape through as much as I can. At this point, I contemplated about this particular lineup going against Luke for the longest time, as I wasn't sure and I've not had much success, although I usually use Bastila lead, and at this point I had her on defense. So we've got Repulse on the field, everyone's stunned. That Shakti is absolutely fast and just passing turns to Luke constantly. So we don't want to use our taunt. However, this Luke is hardwired to go for 5s either way. So as you can see, they're absolutely doing a ton of damage on 5s. And 5s is down. Luckily we get Gas to stand up. Gonna apply that armor shred. And we drop Shakti here. And we've got full turn meter on Luke yet again. Does 100k damage on that attack. Does another repulse and just drops Rex here. However, we use our basic, and that second ability does about 100k for a total of 170k damage. So overall, I was able to scrape through these teams. However, as you can see, I'm not doing too well in terms of banners. And at this point in time, I was thinking there has to be array in those back walls. So I saved my Kylo Ren for this particular matchup, and I utilized Padme here. My mindset here was thinking that this Malak is really high tenacity, therefore I have no doubt in my mind that I would have to two-shot this Darth Revan team. However, I still tried my best here, used my basic on Padme there, but I really wanted to drop Bastila Fallen here. So I had a choice here whether to gain Retribution or just use that third ability. And I had enough courage stacks on Anakin there, so I was able to drop Darth Revan. And this is the problematic point where you've got Malak left. However, you can't land any of your debuffs. So really the main debuffs I would have wanted to land from Jedi Knight Anakin would have been the healing immunity and buff immunity. However, that is 170% tenacity Malak. So I let it time out. I sped it up for you guys as that would have taken forever. However, I wanted to ensure that I get this cleanup, so I utilized Kylo Ren, Wat Tambor, and Darth Nihilus. Now I probably could have gone without Wat Tambor here for this cleanup. So I placed that Bactoid shield onto Kylo, ensuring that he's got taunt at all times, and I placed the weapon tech onto Nihilus just to speed up the process of getting to Annihilate. Although this was a high tenacity Malak, it actually only had about 250 speed. So theoretically speaking, I probably could have done without Wat Tambor here. And we are ready for the Annihilate. So this is where the mind games play in GAC, as having a look at the back walls, there isn't any Galactic Legends here. So I'm quite surprised that Klesso didn't set any of his Galactic Legends, therefore I would have had to regain some of my banners back, and I had to solo one of the teams here in the back with my Kylo Ren. We're just going to try and siphon as much as we can and hopefully regain a little bit of health there to get 55 banners. Now this is another interesting matchup, guys, as I actually had not attempted this before with Geos against this Finn lineup. And it was a bit iffy at times, actually, as I almost lost Geobrood Alpha a couple of times here when they outputted all that damage. So I'm going to try and dispel this taunt. And look at that, that counter attack almost obliterated Geobrood Alpha. So I wanted to gain a taunt on Sun Fac, so we can lose a bit of that heat on Geobrood Alpha. We get a cleanse out, which is perfect timing. And that third assist on GBA did the trick on Resistance Hero Finn there. So this worked out pretty well, guys, although it's not looking too good in terms of banners. However, typically I would use my CLS against this matchup. And that gives you a decent amount of banners. Looking at the top wall here, there's not too many squads here that look too menacing. However, we did save our JTR team, which I find quite reliable in getting banners back. So we're going to try and stun Zalbar here, and that didn't really work for us. Going to try and apply healing immunity. Couple of counter attacks, pop some exposes, and it's looking like we're just going to go for Zalbar here at this point. able to drop Zalbar there, stuck behind the taunt from Zombie. So we use that third ability. We regain a bit of our protection back from Illuminated Destiny there. And we get our 54 banners against that matchup. However, looking at my roster, I was quickly running out of teams to use. And I did still have Hux here. And there's still a nest waiting in the back. So used clones against Newt Gunray here. The idea behind this is that I've got a chance to get the protection and health back from Shak here once Newt Gunray starts stealing them. So I was hoping to drop Dooku there. However, he was tanky enough to survive and he's in the yellow. And I was actually hoping to get to Echo's grenade. However, it was on cooldown. I'm going to pass this assist onto Echo. And now we've got ability block. And we finally drop Dooku. And we're going to start working on Newt Gunray here. At this point, I really can't tell if that stall was beneficial in terms of getting banners back. However, we got about 51 banners, which is probably our average for this particular matchup. And we still had a first order squad here, and even Thrawn. Although at this point I didn't have a use for Thrawn. So I wanted to pass this on to Executioner as I wanted to dispel that taunt from Sith Empire Trooper. And we're gonna get stunned here by EP. So that's taken a ton of our banners. I'm gonna pass this on to Sith Trooper for that big AoE. And it's not looking good as our first order executioner is taking a ton of damage from those dot points. We get a cleanse out on Sith Trooper here. We get another stun from Palpatine. However, we, in the nick of time, are able to use the second ability on Palpatine to drop his turn meter a bit. I'm going to pass this turn onto Executioner again, and I'm going to drop his turn meter yet again. So unfortunately, very low banners. And looking at the mods on that Droideka, he's gonna do so much damage to our Scion. Although we've modded Scion pretty decently in terms of protection, health protection, and crit avoidance. So that could be troublesome, and we still had Bosk, so I decided to throw in Bosk, just another tanky character that can soak up some damage. Trying to get rid of Spy at this point. However, there's a ton of regeneration going on at the moment, and we finally get Spy out of the way. We get a Dispel on that Droidica, and hoping to get a stun on Geobrood here. Going to try and keep isolating Brute in the back so we don't get stuck behind that taunt. We finally get held by Hatred. And look at that, Droidica just blasts through Scion, and we were extremely lucky that we had held by Hatred at that point. And this was where I believe I may have made a mistake. Or it could have been in the next round, as I decided to taunt on Bosk. Here, right here is where I made that mistake, as he was blasted through by Droidica. So most of the battles that I did in the back walls there are actually fairly new to me, and I haven't come across in the past, so it's always good to learn new things in this game. And being able to use this particular lineup against Stormtrooper Han and Nest here would have not crossed my mind, as I usually use this on defense. We're going to try and quickly get rid of R2 here with that grenade. And it looks like we're doing enough damage on Nest here. And the great thing about this team on offense is that you're going to get your banners back through Finn's second ability there that heals health and protection. And our resistance heroes are doing a ton of damage on Nest. So we really just want her to take a turn. And after she's done that, we can get her out of the way. So we're gonna stun Stormtrooper Han here for a second. And she's taking a turn here, so we're gonna blast her with that 40k shot. Gonna try and use my basics here, hopefully not do too much damage till I get my healing on Finn. So managed that for about 53 banners. And this was a typical Malevolence Negotiator matchup, so I won't trouble you guys with the fleet battle. Although towards the end here, I still lost a ton of banners in this fleet matchup. Although looking at what happened at the time, it looks no different to what usually happens against Malevolence here. However, only 57 banners there. And that's our final score against Klesso. So we are about 5 hours left in the attack phase. And just showing you my defense here. At the bottom, I usually set Rey. I don't have her ultimate, unfortunately. I placed Vader and Palpatine. And in the back walls I had the Revens, as well as Bastille Shan and Newt Gunray. And in the top I had Mando, Grievous, OG Kylo, Droideka, and HK. In the back walls I usually set my Malevolence. And overall, very exciting GAC, guys. I've tried a lot of new things here that I will definitely use in the future. And looking at the final score here, guys, Klesso was extremely efficient in this battle. And I really feel that the pivotal moment here was that he didn't place any Galactic Legends as I was expecting for him to do so. And his defenses were absolutely incredible, as you saw. It took a ton of banners away. So I guess the takeaway here is, as Grandmaster Yoda once said, much to learn you still have, my young Padawan. As I do believe I still have a ton of things to learn about this game. But thank you, Klesso, and I'm looking forward to watching your video. As per usual, I still look up to this gent. I do believe that he's one of the best in the game, so it's an absolute honor to be matched up to him. But as always, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and do subscribe to Klesso as well. And I'll see you on the next one.